UK Network Radio. This week's show is a journey into consciousness, working through the wonderful trance mediumship of Mick and Sylvie Avery, with wisdom brought through by spirit guide Gregory. There's military interests that do not want this to come out, and they will attack and probably cause more harm to civilians by doing so. I mean, this actually leads me on to something else as well, and that's the crop circle situation, because every time I've been down to see the crop circles, we've experienced helicopters that come in and fly over the formations, and a photographer who was with us took a photo, and there was no markings on his helicopter. It was black, but there's no markings on it, and it just seemed that every time we go there, the military or the Air Force seem to be taking an interest in these things. And like I say, I know that some could be fake, but I've done some research, and there's a really good DVD that I watched a couple of weeks ago with some very good scientific evidence that would really push the envelope towards being ET created, or not of this earth, or not by humans anyway.
Yes, I understand that. But the point is as well, dear friend, that you have to understand as well that these situations are sometimes they are created by those in the spirit world, and
really?
they use plasmic balls to do it with.
Wow, that's just as good.
Yes, quite so. And I understand. Then people would say, "Well, why don't spirits materialize to us?" Well, simply because oftentimes it's very, very difficult to do that. You have to understand that when you live in the physical world reality, it's of a certain specific vibration. And for us in our side of life, it's actually very difficult to move to that vibration so that we can be seen, which is why it is that we use plasmic balls or some other such apparatus that allows us to perhaps show just a small part of ourselves, because it takes a great deal of energy to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I understand that different groups are able to use and manipulate certain conditions to do with electromagnetic and various forms of wave technology that exists purely and simply because of the gravitational field of the Earth, and mixed with various other conditions which have to be just right and just so at that particular time.
Is that the reason why they're all around the sacred sites of Wiltshire, Avebury? Because they're very sacred sites, aren't they? With a lot of energy there.
In the main, my dear friend, it's actually because of the fact that the ley line activity is very evident. It's very much on the surface in those particular areas, as well as it is in other, in a sense, sacred sites throughout the planet. The point is that this is not just one anomaly going on in one particular area. It is something which is repeated.
Yeah.
And that is the manifestation of its repetition. You see, purely and simply because what we tend to do is use it by the creative forces which exist already. It's part of the reason, friend, why at times when viewing such objects as this, you will see, in fact, that there may well be small plasmic balls within the area just moving across the crop or whatever, perhaps maybe at 3 feet in height from the ground, or some such thing. And these balls of light are part of the structure which is inherent in creating them.
That's right. People have seen those.
Yes, and it's not just to say that these are created by the spirit world only or primarily. It is also a part of the manifestation which is enabled by other groups as well. Other groups who use the universe just like their own village, if you like.
Yeah, but there does seem to be a purpose to them. There doesn't seem to be anything random about them, because
of course.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, my dear friend. Really, because they are subjected to very specific numbers. They are subjected to very specific diametrics of specific heavenly bodies or patterns of displacement, particularly to do with various passages of planets and also their moons or different star systems which have to be particularly involved, purely and simply because of the dynamics of it, as trying to illuminate something which is, as, how can I say, more intelligent, because it exists within very many different numbered and fractioned numbered status, so that it's, in a sense, to do with part of the geometric and geophysical stress of the planet, as well as other parts of the universe of your present dimension, so general locality. And it tends to be echoing different facts to do with your own planetary awareness and surrounding, and also its moons and various other planets to do with the solar system, as well as other planets and stars in close proximity.
Yes, that's what I found. They do seem to be a roadmap of what's happening within our own solar system. It's almost like waking people up to a new level of mathematics. It seems to be, that's what I'm saying, it's like a roadmap helping us, guiding us to a higher state of consciousness, in a way.
Yes, in a sense, or at least a different state of learning. I would prefer to call it that.
Yes.
Because in actual fact, the highest state of consciousness that you can illuminate to has to be your own pure spirit, and to see yourself in that divine purpose. That doesn't mean to say taken over by egotism, but actually related to as a factual evidence of the purity which exists within you, which can be found within every being. And that would only bring truth and love. That would only bring absolute light and joy and bliss to the state of life.